For this first effect, I can hand the deck over to the participant to shuffle. After they are done, they can hand the deck back, and I would ask the participant to name any four of a kind they would like. Just to keep things nice and simple, let's say they name the four queens, but can really be any four of a kind. Now, the participant can also shuffle the queens, put them in any order they would like, and they can also sign any or all of the four queens if they so choose to. Excuse me. So what we're going to do with the four queens is we're going to lay them down in a row just like this. So each queen has their own pile. With the rest of the cards, I'm going to get the participant to call out stop as I riffle my thumb down the side. Let's say they call out stop here. We're going to take the top four cards, we're going to leave them right here, but we're going to place the card box right over them, just like that. Here's what we're going to do with the four queens now. We're going to put the first queen on the bottom of the deck, give it a little riffle, and you can see the queen disappears. We can try that with the next queen. Just put the queen right on the bottom, give the cards a little riffle, and the queen disappears. For this third queen, you're actually going to see the deck go right on top. If I riffle the deck, the queen disappears. And for the last queen, we can leave the queen sticking out just like this, give it a little flick. You're going to see the queen disappears, meaning under the card box the entire time are the four queens. And that is the first effect. Before we get into the tutorial, the cards I am using are the signed Camp 52 Dystopian cards by Cabin Booth. I have a deck review on these. I will link that in the description along with Cavin's channel to go and subscribe to him. And so for this first effect, you can start off by having the participant shuffle the deck. While they are doing that, or even after, it doesn't matter. You're going to have them either name a four of a kind, four random cards, or even pull out four random cards. It really doesn't matter. Just to keep things nice and simple for this effect, let's say we use the four queens again. So after the four of a kind is taken out, it doesn't matter the order of the cards, and it doesn't matter if they're signed either. You're going to have the deck face up in your dominant hand, and you're going to want a pinky break below the top four cards. So you could go ahead and catch your break while the four of a kind is being looked at, just like this. So I just did a pinky count. I will leave that video in the description. But what I did was I put the four of a kind face up on top. I spread over the four queens, and then underneath that last queen, I spread four more cards. So in this case, the two of clubs is that last or that fourth random card. I'm going to put my middle and ring finger on that card, lift up, put my pinky in of the hand that's holding the deck, and square everything up. So when you push everything back underneath this break, you are going to have not only the four queens, but those four random cards. You could do one of two things. You could do what I did in the performance by just holding the front of the packet with my middle ring and pinky, thumb at the back, and then you're just gonna come down with the deck and then pull away. Okay, so really you're gonna conceal the bottom card. You could do this, or you could just lift up at the queens and turn over the deck. The only reason I mentioned that risk kill is because someone might remember the last card or the first card underneath that last queen is the two of diamonds. So when you come away, they expect to see the two of diamonds, they see the nine of hearts, they may think something is up, but it doesn't matter how you do it. So you come away and you put this face down on top of the deck. So now they think you have the four queens on top of the deck when you actually have those four random cards followed by the four queens. So now you're going to lay these out in a row just like this. And they think these are the four queens. Once again, they're not. Your next thing here is you're going to have to force the top four cards. I will leave a link in the description to the force I did, and I will also include some other forces as well, in case you want to check those out. But let's say you force the top four cards. Make sure they don't see the cards because they think the queens are here. So if they happen to see the four queens here, they may think something is up. But now, this part, you can really do whatever you want. You just are gonna make it look like that the queens disappear. Okay, so I'm not gonna go through it, but all I did was I took the first three cards, I placed it on the bottom of the deck, I then riffled the deck, and I showed each time the queens disappeared. I did that for the first three cards. For the last card, I just went about halfway, and for the white border, where the black border actually starts, that's how far I placed the card in. You could go a little farther, you're going to have to play around with it, but if you hold the deck like this and just flick straight down, if you do it right, it's going to turn face up, show the queen is no longer there, meaning over here under the box are the four queens. And that is the first effect. Let's get into the second effect now. And there are a couple of ways you can do the ending for this last effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a card selected. Let's say this card. I don't want to see it. I will show it to you. Go ahead and remember that. Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your card and we're going to leave it about halfway down in the deck, just like this. Now, all you have to do is push your card in. Let's say they do that. My job now is to try to find your card. So if I go ahead and I think that this is actually your card. So for the first time ever, your card is the nine of spades. No, the nine of spades is not your card. Well, go ahead and watch the nine. If I go one, two, three, you're going to see the 9 changes into one card, and that is hopefully your card, the 3 of diamonds. Let's get into the tutorial for this last effect here. So once again, as I said, there are a few ways you can end this effect. So the main thing for this is you need to have a card selected and controlled to the top of the deck. You can do that any way you would like. I will leave some card controls in the description along with the control I did in the performance. Well, let's say the card we have selected is the King of Hearts. It can also be signed, it doesn't matter. So once the card is on top, all I did was I just went ahead and pulled out any random card, but I just used the dribble. If you're not familiar with the dribble, I will leave the link for the dribble in the description. There are a few ways you can go about the dribble too, keep in mind. But when I turn this card face up and I show it, all I did was just catch a break below the top card. So you could do a pinky count, or when showing the card like this, My thumb just pushed over the card slightly. I put my pinky in, then I pulled back with my thumb. I put the card on top, and now all I did was the shake change. I believe I taught this in my color change video, so I will link that in the description. But all I did was my middle finger contacted the top left corner where the 4 and the club is, and diagonal right down to that other 4 and club goes my thumb. So when I shake the cards, at the same time my index finger can come over and pull this card in, and then I stop shaking. So it may look something like this. If you want more detail, check out that video down below. Another move you could do is I believe it's called the shapeshifter. I'm not too good at this move. I may have taught it, but essentially, if you hold it just like the shake change, okay, but instead is at the opposite corners, and then your other hand, I use my thumb and my ring finger come to where the previous corners were for that shake change. You pull down and then just snap and let go. It's supposed to turn around. So it's supposed to look okay. So don't have too much pressure, but it's supposed to look something like that. So that's one way you could do it. Another way you could do this is like a double lift. So you're going to have a card touched, or you can take one out. You just don't want the card looked at. So let's say this is the card. You're going to put the card on top of the deck, and you're going to go straight into a double lift. If you're not familiar with the double lift, I will leave my link in the description. So the double lift I did was the strike double, where I strike 2 cards. That is my preferred way of double lifts. I will leave a Shin Lim double lift down below, and an even easier double lift where you gesture like this, and then of course you catch your break, you put it on top, and then you double lift. You could end it here by showing the king, or a few cleanup methods. Turn your hand over. Here it is exposed. You come under with your fingers. You pull out the king and you turn it face up. Just keep in mind you have this card face up. Or what you could do, so let's say we get back, that's a triple lift. So we want double lift here. You could do the KM move. I will leave that link in the description. And that's one way to clean up the double lift. And of course, there are other methods of revealing the card, like card forces and maybe the call. If you're not familiar with the call, I will leave that link in the description. But that was the second effect. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time with a new video. Bye.